Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Screen. My name is Angelique Carter, and this podcast explores the growing relationship between social media influencers and their audiences. Have you ever felt excited when your favorite influencer announced a new relationship, moved into a new house, or shared a personal life update? Maybe you've purchased a product they recommended or felt genuinely happy when something good happened to them. Even though you've never met them, it can feel like you know them personally. These kinds of experiences are part of a broader pattern of how we engage with people online. One concept that helps explain this is called a parasocial relationship, which refers to one sided emotional connections between audiences and media figures. But this podcast isn't just about that, it's about the many different ways we interact with and respond to people we follow online. Today, I'll introduce some of these ideas, explain why these connections have become so common on social media, and discuss what current research says about them. Later episodes will include survey results from students and young adults, and interviews with both social media users and content creators. Social media has changed the way we experience relationships with public figures. In the past, audiences mainly interacted with celebrities through television, movies, or magazines. Today, influencers share daily routines, personal struggles, relationships, vacations, and behind the scenes moments with their followers. This constant access can create a sense of familiarity and connection. For some people, this may develop into what researchers call a parasocial relationship, a one sided emotional bond where the audience feels connected to someone who doesn't know them personally. However, not all interactions with influencers are the same. Some people simply enjoy watching their content, while others feel more emotionally invested or influenced by what they see. Several academic studies suggest that these different types of engagement can affect trust, emotional attachment, and even purchasing decisions. According to Farvar, Wang, and Turrell, 2026, stronger emotional connections with influencers can increase engagement but may also create challenges when followers struggle to separate themselves emotionally from online content. Their research suggests that a person's ability to step away from social media plays an important role in maintaining a healthy balance. Bhattacharya, 2023, also found that emotional attachment between influencers and followers contributes to higher engagement and stronger responses to influencer marketing. Let's take a look into the history of parasocial relationships. Although social media has made parasocial relationships more visible than ever before, the concept actually isn't new. The term parasocial relationship was first introduced in 1956 by sociologists Donald Horton and Richard Wohl. They noticed that television personalities often spoke directly to viewers, smiled into the camera, and created the illusion of having a personal conversation. Even though audiences couldn't actually interact with these media figures, many still felt like they knew them personally. At the time, these relationships were most common with television hosts, radio personalities, news anchors, and actors. Viewers would tune in every week to watch the same people becoming familiar with their personalities, voices, and mannerisms. Over time, these repeated interactions created a sense of comfort and familiarity, even though the relationship was entirely one sided. Fast forward nearly 70 years, and social media has completely transformed how these relationships develop. Instead of seeing someone once a week on television, we now have access to creators every single day. We watch their morning routines, vacations, workouts, grocery shopping trips, and even their most personal moments. Features like Instagram stories, TikToks, YouTube vlogs, and live streams make it feel as though we're expecting life alongside them. What's changed isn't the existence of parasocial relationships, it's the frequency and intimacy of those interactions. Social media allows creators to share so much of their everyday lives that followers often feel like they're keeping up with a friend rather than watching a public figure. That's one of the biggest reasons why parasocial relationships have become such an important topic in media studies today. There are several reasons why people form connections with influencers and other public figures online. One major factor is how influencers present themselves. Unlike traditional celebrities, influencers often appear more relatable and accessible. They communicate directly with their audiences through comments, live streams, question and answer sessions, and day in the life content. Degin et al. 2025 found that emotional bonding, identification, loyalty, and empathy all contribute to how audiences engage with influencers. Their research suggests that followers may see parts of themselves reflected in influencers, which can strengthen their connection. Similarly, Peterson, Hanafi, and Justianto 2025 found that when followers perceive an influencer as credible and similar to themselves, they are more likely to trust them and engage with their content. These findings suggest that authenticity and relatability play a major role in shaping how audiences interact with influencers, not just in forming emotional connections, but also in influencing behavior and engagement. So now that we understand what parasocial relationships are and why they develop, there's one important question left to answer. Are they actually healthy? The answer isn't as simple as yes or no. Like many aspects of social media, parasocial relationships can have both positive and negative effects depending on how people engage with them. Let's start with the positives. For many people, following influencers or celebrities can create a sense of community and belonging. Watching someone else's content consistently can become part of a daily routine, offering comfort, entertainment, or even motivation. Influencers often inspire people to try new hobbies, improve their fitness, become more confident, or learn new skills. They can also introduce audiences to new products, businesses, and charitable causes they may have never discovered otherwise. Research also suggests that these one sided relationships can provide emotional support. During stressful times, simply watching a familiar creator can make people feel less alone. While the relationship isn't mutual, the sense of familiarity can still be meaningful for the viewer. For many people, parasocial relationships are simply one way of connecting with media in today's digital world. However, there can also be downsides. Because influencers share so much of their daily lives, it can become easy to forget that viewers are only seeing carefully selected moments. Social media often highlights the best parts of someone's life while leaving out many of the ordinary or difficult moments behind the scenes. Researchers Farivar, Wang, and Turrell found that stronger parasocial relationships can sometimes become problematic when followers have difficulty separating themselves from social media. People who struggle to disconnect may become more emotionally affected by the lives of creators they follow. Another concern is comparison. Constantly watching creators who appear successful, attractive, or constantly productive can sometimes lead viewers to compare themselves to unrealistic standards. This can negatively affect self esteem or create pressure to keep up with lifestyles that aren't always realistic. It's also possible for followers to place too much trust in someone they only know through a screen. Whether it's purchasing products, accepting advice, or defending creators during controversies, emotional attachment can sometimes influence decision making. Social media has transformed the way we connect with people we follow online. Whether it's casual engagement, emotional investment, or something deeper, these interactions are now a central part of the digital experience. Research suggests that these connections can increase trust, engagement, and even influence behavior. At the same time, it's important to recognize that different types of engagement can have both positive and negative effects, depending on how individuals interact with social media. In the next episode, I'll share the results from my survey and begin exploring how influencer authenticity, trust, and credibility shape these interactions. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Screen. I'll see you guys in episode 2.